The streets of Harare are alive once again. Word has spread quickly through every corner of the city. Maxwell Chikumbutso has returned, but this time it's not another wireless generator. It's not a new military drone or flying machine. What he brings now is something so bold and so unbelievable that it shakes the entire foundation of the world's automobile industry. A sleek, shining car priced at only $14,000. A car that never stops running. At first glance, it looks like any regular car. Small, compact, and carefully designed, gliding silently down the road. Yet, hidden under its plain shell lies a technology so advanced that engineers from Tesla, Toyota, and BMW are struggling to sleep at night, trying to understand it. Step inside the car, and the difference becomes clear right away. There is no battery indicator, no fuel gauge, no low energy warning, and no sign of range anxiety. There is nothing to check because this machine simply keeps moving. Maxwell explains that it runs on a self-generating energy system he built himself. He calls it a special mix of radio frequency energy collection, advanced magnetic drive mechanics, and extremely efficient power converters. For ordinary people, it seems like pure magic, but for Maxwell, it's simply science done the right way. As the car moves through the streets, conversations grow louder and more passionate. A young engineer named Tashi defends Maxwell's discovery, while an older man shakes his head. Impossible, he says. We tried something like this decades ago. It can't work. Maxwell smiles and interrupts him. That's because you were looking in the wrong place, he says calmly. Energy is everywhere. You just need to know how to take it. The first public test happens outside an old warehouse that Maxwell picks carefully. A small crowd gathers: reporters, engineers, and curious locals. Cameras roll and whispers fill the air. The rules are simple. The car will start from zero, and it will keep going until someone decides to stop it. Maxwell steps into the car, turns a small key, and the vehicle comes alive with a soft hum. There's no roar of an engine, no smoke, no smell, only a gentle, steady sound that seems to hypnotize the listeners. Minutes pass, then hours. Hours turn into days. At the 48-hour mark, the skeptics begin to shift uneasily. By the fourth day, journalists are calling it the car that never stops. But every great invention brings danger. Rumors spread quickly. Some whisper that powerful oil companies have already made calls to stop Maxwell's project by any means necessary. Others say that a big European automaker offered him a blank check if he promised never to make the car public. Maxwell refused. That's when the threats began. Letters arrived. Strange phone calls came late at night. One morning, he found a tire on his personal car slashed. Still, he refused to back down. Days turned into weeks. Maxwell and his small team worked around the clock inside their compound. He barely slept, living only on determination and belief. Finally, one evening, Maxwell came out of the lab, looking worn out, but proud. His eyes sparkled with determination. It's ready, he said. The final test. This car will run forever, under full electrical load. That was the moment when even the most doubtful engineers realized they were witnessing something beyond the ordinary. A quiet tension filled the air as Maxwell walked toward the warehouse. Every step he took seemed heavier with expectation. He paused for a moment, took a deep breath, and pushed the door open. Inside, dozens of large batteries stood ready, shining under the dim lights, a sign of the heavy experiment that was about to take place. Everyone in the room watched in silence. What you are about to see, Maxwell said, is the real power of our discovery. The car will keep running under conditions that would drain any other vehicle in seconds. The first challenge was to let the car run for 3 full days without recharging. The task was hard. The car had to maintain steady motion while drawing constant power. Suddenly, one of the observers, a tech reporter from Johannesburg, asked the question that everyone had been thinking. Maxwell, where does this energy actually come from? You can't just make it from nothing. Maxwell didn't even blink. I'm not creating it, he said calmly. I'm tapping into it. The energy already exists all around us. I just figured out how to catch it and use it without losing any of it. The crowd murmured in disbelief. Some were amazed, others confused. Maxwell then led them outside to another area where a larger machine waited. This one looked different, bigger, stronger, and with a design that reminded people of military vehicles. If you think the car is amazing, Maxwell said with a grin, wait till you see this one. What stood before them was something between a truck, a mobile generator, and something no one could quite name. Around a table built from scrap metal, Maxwell studied a maze of switches and gauges. The tension in the air was thick. We've loaded the system to its highest capacity, he announced. If it holds, our theory is proven. If not, we might not get another chance. The test began. Time seemed to crawl. Each second echoed like a drumbeat. The room stayed silent, except for the steady hum of the machine. Suddenly, a loud crack cut through the air, followed by a hiss of gas escaping. Maxwell jumped forward, pulling a lever that shut the power down. We lost containment, he said softly, but it held long enough. That's proof enough. The realization hit them like a wave. They had stumbled upon something that could reshape the entire world. The next day, Maxwell prepared for another stage of testing. He set up the car under heavy electrical pressure, turning on everything it had. The headlights blazed bright. The air conditioning roared. Heated seats switched on. A heavy power drill plugged into one of the sockets spun wildly. Every single device was powered by the same invisible system that kept the car moving. In theory, Maxwell said, smiling, this car could power a house forever. He pressed a button on the dashboard. The screen showed a steady line. No drop in voltage, no flicker, no change. It was as if the car was drawing from an endless current of energy flowing through the air. The success gave them new courage. Maxwell planned the next test, to run the car continuously under extreme stress. He parked it beside a tall glass building that mirrored the golden evening sun. Tomorrow, he said, we push it further until we find its breaking point. The next day, he brought in a massive industrial fan and positioned it in front of the car. When he turned it on, the fan blades spun fast, pulling wind with force, but the car stood still, unwavering. Then he added a second fan, then a third. The wind swirled violently around the car, but it didn't move an inch. Its energy stayed strong and stable. Encouraged, Maxwell connected even more devices, a refrigerator, a welding machine, and other heavy tools. Sparks flashed as the welder flared, but still the car stayed powered and steady. Suddenly, the lights in the warehouse flickered. Maxwell immediately turned off the extra machines. We'll need that energy for the last test, he said. He took a deep breath and prepared for the final round. He plugged in a small television, and the screen lit up, showing the news about his invention. The car continued to hum smoothly, not affected at all. Then he connected a laptop and a game console. Both worked perfectly. The energy remained the same. No drop, no change. Maxwell Ossess's face glowed in the light of the laptop screen as he moved to the next test. He switched on a portable air conditioner and set it to the coldest temperature. Soon, the air around the car turned icy, but the humming sound stayed constant. Then he added a microwave, set it on high, and watched as it ran smoothly without draining the system. Finally, he grabbed a heavy-duty power drill and pressed the trigger. The drill roared, but the car's rhythm stayed unchanged. With his eyes burning with determination, Maxwell decided to push every limit. He turned on every single appliance at once: the air conditioner, fans, microwave, television, drill, and welder. The team stood speechless. They had done what once seemed impossible.